Okay, this is the compare and order decimals and fractions homework. Take a look at the first one. It says to compare 9.95 and 9.91 using those inequality signs. Well, when I'm doing decimals, I like to think of them as money. So would you rather have $9.95 or $9.91? So this is more money. So we're going to write those down here, $9.95. $9.91, and we're going to use the greater than symbol pointing this way because that's more than that. All right, take a look at the next ones. They give you some decimals to order. So just like Miss Flood did, I'm going to put them, I'm going to stack them, 1.25, 0.129, and 0.12. Now, it's okay to add a 0 to that just to make them all the same length. Now, I'm going to go down the columns like Miss Flood did. The zeros are all the same. The ones are all the same. The twos are all the same. Here's where I can decide which one is the least. So 0 is the smallest or the least, so that's the one I'm going to start with. And I'm going to write 0.12. Cross that one out. Now the next smallest, 5 is smaller than 9, so I'm going to say 0.125. And then this would be the greatest, 0.129. Okay, so the next one's very similar. You're going to use greater than or less than symbols to compare 2/5 and 4/10. Now we want to get them to be in the same form, which means let's take 2 and divide it by 5. All right, so if I do that, 5's not going to go into 2, but 5 will go into 20 4 times. So 2/5 is actually 0.4. So if we would compare 0.4 and 0.4, what sign would we put in between those? So that's what you're going to need to do. You're going to have 2/5 and 0.4, and you're going to need to put in an inequality sign. Less than, greater than, or equal to each other. All right, take a look here. We're going to use less than or greater than to compare these two. So you're going to do that same thing again. Let's change this. 1 divided by 3. Going to have to add the decimal point in the 0. 3 is going to go into 10 3 times. I'm going to bring down a 0. Looks like I'm going to get 3 repeating. So you're going to be comparing 0.31 and 0.33. So make sure that when you write those down here, 0.31, and you have to use the original fraction form, and then you'll fill in the box what you think, which one is greater. All right, so the next one says order these numbers, 0.56, 0.53, and 1/2. Well, I know 1/2 as a decimal is 0.5. All right, so now I want to go to greatest to least. So if I think money, 56 cents is the greatest. So I'm going to put 5, 6. That one's going to go first. Then this would be the next biggest. And 50 cents would be the last. But this one was originally written as 1/2, so I need to write it as the fraction in my answer. That would be the order. Okay, you're going to do the same thing here. Order these numbers, 2/7, 0.26, and 0.21 from least to greatest. So remember, when you're changing a fraction, top number goes underneath, 2 divided by 7. Set that up and do your division. You'll get what that is as a decimal, and then you need to put them in order from smallest to greatest. And if you go down to the bottom left, Zach wants to drill a hole with a diameter of no more than 0.5 inches. Can he use a 2/5 inch drill bit? So in order to figure that out, we need to know what 2/5 is as a decimal. So we're going to do 2 divided by 5. If I change that, I know we had this one right up here in the top right-hand corner, and we got 0.4 because that is 20. So we've got to compare 2/5, which is 0.4, and we don't want any more than 0.5. So is that okay? Is 0.4 less than or no more than 0.5? Yeah, we could use that one because it's less than 0.5. All right, take a look at the next one. Compare negative 2 1/6 and negative 2.6. So you can either look back on your fraction paper for what 1/6 is as a decimal, or you're going to have to divide it out. But eventually you'll have negative 2 1/6 and compare it to negative 2.6. Okay, for this one it says compare the absolute value of 27.2, which is just 27.2, and the absolute value of negative 27.5. Well, that's just 27.5 spots away from 0. So if I compare those, 27.2 is less than 27.5, but I have to show my final answer the way it looked in the question. So I have to say the absolute value of 27.2 is less than the absolute value of negative 27.5. All right, looks like there's nothing on the back, so hopefully that will help.